Hey guys, it's Phantom, and today we want to talk about the common misconception that artists go through all the time with the music game. I'm gonna first off say if you're in this for the chicken, if you're in it for the money, fame, the glory, everybody needs to start somewhere. With that said, let's proceed. The most common thing that people get wrong is ownership. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more on ownership in a second. But when you get recognized for something, you want the credit, right? You want to be remembered for it. You yourself want to be the person that they come to, so on and so forth. So, you first have to trademark your name. Now, if you're using your birth name, whole different scenario, cool, kind of can't steal that from you. But if you have a stage name, you want to trademark that because you don't want to get, working with a company, they trademark your stage name. Now, you have no right to it. Y'all getting a falling out. Guess who's out of stage name? The lesser. Second, you want to make sure you own all copyrights in your music. That's another big thing. When you go into a record label, and I'm not saying record labels ain't bad, you get a lot of upfront collateral, you get a lot of resources that you don't have to search for, but their payouts, it's different. You get paid last. They're going to pay for your management. They're going to pay for your video, visuals, recording sessions, all that. So you're going to make majority of your money up in tours, merch, things of that nature. But as far as off the music itself, which they own a right to, you only get a small percentage, which is going to be drawn up in your contract. So if you want to be an independent artist, you want to make the most out of your money in your craft, you want to be able to officially say, this is mine, copyright your own music. That is pivotal, copyright, because as an independent artist, you need to copyright your music. So after you got to pass trademark, understand the copyright. If you give it a copyright now online, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think you still got to go on some municipal building, go through all this hassle, send a bunch of stuff off. You actually can do it now. And if they request a physical copy, then you send them a physical copy. And they also give you the option to copyright under your stage name also. That's why it's really important. So, if you need a step-by-step on how to copyright things, I'm pretty sure there's tutorials out there. If you want me to do one, mention the comment below. And then we will go from there. I just throw something out there that I'm going to copyright while I get through the process without giving you all my personal information before overlay. Second is enterprising. Like, everybody wants to enterprise. Everybody wants to make some name for themselves. Well, most people get the lineup wrong. It's cool to be the hottest artist in the city, and if you're in the local scene, like my town, Atlantic City, ain't that big. We got tourists, that comes through, but how often they come to our local shows? How often is the locals going to the local shows? So you got to make yourself on the forefront in your town as equally in other towns. You have to network, you have to expand. You got to be able to put yourself in a room. Either you pay your weight or you know the right people. Sometimes both of them are hard because you might have the capital to do it, but you might not know where to start. First thing first, you want to look up your local promoters and your local DJs. Those are the two people that's going to give you the best information. Because who better know the music scene of your town than your local DJ or your local promoter? They don't want putting on shows, or they don't want doing shows, so they should have an outlet to put you on, a lane of some sort to get you recognition. Which goes a long way, because in the end, if you blow up, they're the ones who help birth your career, so 9 out of 10 times they're coming with you. Because you're going to build a relationship, you're going to be able to, build a partnership, so you might throw them exclusives. So now you're more of a mainstream artist. They got the exclusives to play at their shows. Then who's coming? New fans for them. And vice versa. It's all like a working circle. Everything comes back to one another. As far as the rap game, a lot of people get that messed up on a lower level. Like, I know, publicity, controversy, or just raw talent works on the mainstream. But we talking about the lower tier guys who trying to get there. So now, copyright your music. Now, there are publishing outlets. We have outlets like TuneCore, ASCAP, and I think there's like one or two more entities just like them. Pretty much they're self-publishing companies. So they help you publish your money, go find your royalties for every time your song is spent. But the great thing of working with these guys, you get these two different numbers. Now, when it comes to publishing music, you get two different codes. You get one for a single, and you get one for a whole album. And what this does is you'll be able to what is called apply for platforms. So if you want to put your music on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, anything of the sort, you need these codes. And you know, I'm just going to real layman terms right now. I'm going to have a more in-depth session about this. So I'm going to revisit this. Because a lot of the stuff that I like talking about is not so much only music. It's about the inner workings of music. Because I want to see the culture thrive. And if there's a guy out there listening right now that can take heed to this and use this to utilize as a portal to better himself or herself, you feel me, to put herself in a culture as an independent, to get a backing, to help better the culture, then my job is done. But yeah. So with these two codes, you go through the application process. You send up a music file, you send it up with other point of references and things of that sort. And then, so, after getting these two codes, for this application process, it's going to take roughly like 4 weeks on some platforms. Then they review your music, categorize it, and then upload it. I think, as far as go with Pandora, we need to be on another platform like, you know, Google Play or iTunes, something of the sort, for them then to put you on Pandora. Now, the greatest thing about the directional path of your music is about, we're going to talk a little bit more about how these self-publishing companies work. Every time your song get played on the airwaves or internet radio or something of the sort, to some degree, you're owed money. Look, the whole termination of royalties. Yeah, and like on platforms like Spotify, there are a ton of songs not being played. But let's look at the conscience of it. What is the two easiest platforms that you can showcase your music outside of SoundCloud? And with the impending doom or success of SoundCloud, it's still in murky waters, so we don't know how far they're going to be. But the two best shots of getting music regularly spent and played without, you know, tipping somebody's hand would be YouTube, and then, of course, Pandora. Now, how this work is, you know what type of music you make. You know who you sound like. You know what type of scene you're a part of. So, on the Pandora algorithm, it picks up on that. Now, I'm telling you, if you don't got an unlimited subscription, you only get like 5 skips. So, imagine for the few people, like myself, when I do put on Pandora and pick a certain type of music type, how long I'm going to let that run? For a while. While I'm cleaning, just doing stuff around the house, editing something. That's going to be the niche right there. Unsuspected praise or interpreted praise. Now, I understand a lot of guys, you know, they look for uniqueness. Hey, man, it's hard to find that nowadays. But to some degree, you're always going to be pitching to one guy versus the other. In a case like this, accept it. Because now you can generate a fan base because somebody say you sound like them and they're going to play you on this radio if you get accepted on this portal. Another thing is, don't try to over flood it. You know, these guys who have a ton of music on Pandora and stuff like that, who are mainstream artists. That catalog been made over a time span. Don't try to put like 2 years worth of work of like 8,000 songs on Pandora. They're going to be selective. They're going to pick what they choose. YouTube, you can upload it. See how far you get. You know? Also, visuals. Social media. Now, social media is the most underused item, I think, for some local artists. Like they'll post normal things on their social media, or like overly flashy stuff. And that's cool, you know, the image of a lifestyle that you're soon hoping to gain, but you're on the lower tier. You have that one option to be more personal with your fans and your early fans than, you know, the guy who got 2.5 million followers. You get to interact with them. You get to ask them questions. You get to see, like, what's this song go? What's the feedback? Because now you get the craft. And that's what I think sometimes bother young artists is criticism. Got a guy in my neighborhood now, I'm like, he's a great artist. But the criticism he can't take. So use social media to enhance your own personal craft. Take it one step at a time. But these are the things you should be setting up, because now when you got your catalog out, you got your project out, you got all these things, you own the copyright, you know, got it published. Alright, cool. You got it out there. iTunes, Pandora. Is Cake supposed to start running it? No. This is another thing people messed up. Start with lower tier radios and work yourself up, because once you've been on enough radio stations, you know, and every time you go to a radio station, you request your song to get played, now it get played on actual airwaves. So you want an edited version that will be susceptible for airwaves. So now, you might have to call them 1,000 times. You might have to email a bunch of people in the office, tag a bunch of people. But you want to start with the radio station, even if you have to go to high school or college first. College radio station, they're more accepting of new artists. You know, more mainstream, like Power 99 or like whatever you have in your area, and then you work your way up. Now you got a resume. I've been on this radio. I've been on that radio. You get a good radio sense. Some people, they don't really know how to curb your tongue. They're not really professional. You want to work on your etiquette when talking on radio. Talking on radio is not the easiest thing. You got to rhyme. I can't say this, but I can say that. I can't do this, but I can do that. So you have to learn the pros and cons of being on the radio, learn how to conduct the interview, because if you plan to be an artist, you're going to go on the radio. So you got to get used to it and put yourself in that predicament to learn from it, and then have them play your music. That's one of the biggest things that a lot of people overlook and don't get a working knowledge of. Radio is very important. Now, there's one thing I didn't talk about, because hopefully you all pay for your beats, and those who beat Jack, this is the tough part. Now, don't get me wrong, you can blow up off a remix. There's plenty of people that blew up off a remix, or even got the recognition they needed off a remix. But that's going viral, you know, and that's cool too, because you could drop a remix on a mixtape. It ain't that tough. You can't put it on an album without consent of the engineer, the producer who made the beat, or the artist who owns it. Now, when it comes down to beats, if you pay for your beats and you have ownership, then you can go through this whole process. It's when you gotta check your lease agreement. If you're buying beats, you gotta check your lease agreements, how many max copies you can sell at what price range. Certain artists look at it, if you ain't selling nothing, it's all free, go ahead and use it. I'm gonna keep my tags in it. So anytime anybody hear you beat, they know I made it. They won't come back to me to buy a beat, advertisement and stuff. If you buy it, I can give you an untagged version. The difference between a tag and untagged version is literally something that they put in there let other, people know it's actually theirs and not yours. Like, Mike Will made it. We know that's his tag. Like, Juju on the beat. This is actually a person who has a tag that says Juju on the beat. June, actually, not Juju. Juju. Another famous tag. If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. That is actually a tag, because when you hear that, that's Metro Boomin. Or you hear Sunny Digital, that is Sunny Digital. And a lot of producers, definitely young producers and people who, because they're the most underrated people. People who aspire to be an artist, put out their raw talent, all this stuff, that's all cool. But without your producer, you ain't much of nothing but an acapella group. So you got to think about it. Like, they're the person that get the least recognitions and the first person to get stolen from. Because people without money is going to steal it, use the song. Oh, well, you want to sue me? Technically, you can. And you should. If you're making a lot of money off the song, you never paid him for that beat, he should sue you. Because at the end of the day, he's missing out. If he could have worked the deal out, all right, cool, well, I'll sell it to you for $200 and it's yours. Or I'll give you it for $100 and maybe 10% royalties. 20% royalties. A lot of producers out there are very reasonable people and will work with you, because they look at it like this. If I sell over 200 beats, then over 200 people, at most 200 people, at least I'll get 50 to 25 people know who I am that are regular customers to buy this many beats off me. And if people really like my work, I can continue to sell beats, because once you become more in demand, the higher your prices go. Yeah, your first couple beats might be 200, 300, 400. But you get called by Def Jam, you're not going to charge Def Jam $200 for a beat. I'm sorry. I know you are going to charge them probably $15,000, $20,000, things of the sort, because they got the money. Now you're worth it. So make sure you're dealing with a producer and you're not making your own beats, you're paying for them, you're getting the rights to them, because if anything happens, anything goes south, you can and most likely you will get sued, especially if the person is smart. Make sure you have all your rights, because that's the pivotal part about being independent. It's owning rights and having ownership of your craft. That's the reason why most people are independent. Not solely because, they have full reign, full creativity, what they can and can't do, but also because they own the rights. Because yes, say tomorrow you become an internet sensation and people love that song, you're making all that cash by yourself. Period. You don't got no big hand, big brother over your shoulder taking and tax you for everything. Outside of, normal federal tax and stuff like that and state tax. But you don't got some big record label company coming over you like, yeah, this is my piece. But you can have that slice, though. You feel me? That's your cake now. That's your bread. That's your chicken. So I hope y'all learned a lot from this. And like I said, I'll go in more in detail. I'm going to put social media down in the comment section below. Hit me up. Add comments. Anything you need to talk about. I don't care what it is. Music related. Business related. Because the longer this runs, the more in depth, the more research is going to be put into it, to help you, the listener. So, put the feedback down below. If you want to see what the next podcast is on, let me know. I'll talk on the topic to the best of my ability, and then we just go from there. But as for that, Phantom out.